All right, how's it going, everyone? Trevor here, Tag Performance and Nutrition, back. I'm going to chat a little bit about the C word today, conditioning. Not the other C words, not any other C words, but we're going to talk conditioning, cardio. And we're going to kind of focus mainly on athletes and in sports, but again, you can use this for everyday, us former athletes, or us washed up, never was, never has been athletes who are still looking to feel good, move good, do all the athletic stuff we thought we couldn't do anymore as we get older. But you still can. It's part of the life. It's part of being an everlasting athlete, being athletic for life. And this is something I've changed my mind on. I used to fall into the camp. You got the camp of all the people, all the coaches who think just conditioning. I think I got something in my beard there. Maybe it's just a gray hair sticking out. Always not used to looking at this because it's always the opposite, like a mirror. But you think of the coaches who are telling you all your conditioning needs to be sport specific. Baseball players just run sprints. Football players like the 5 seconds and 30-second break just to try and time it up perfectly to the play clock and things like that. Whatever, basketball sprints. And all these, a lot of these team sports are like the quick, short plays, and then you got rest. So that anaerobic style. So let's talk about that first. Like the three systems, energy systems. So you got your anaerobic. That's kind of your short burst. Think that 5 to 10, maybe 12, 15 seconds at the most. Then you got the glycolytic, which is like that medium tier, the little bit longer, a little bit not as intense. It's going to be high effort, but not as intense as the anaerobic, high intense, short time period. And then you got the aerobic, that longer duration you think of the typical running, walking, that type of stuff, the longer duration conditioning. And you got these coaches that say, just because your sport doesn't necessarily use the aerobic system or doesn't use the glycolytic system all the time, you're never going to have to use it. So just train sport-specific conditioning. It's the same, and I think it's funny because these same people are preaching that there is no sport-specific training when it comes to like training in the weight room and stuff like that. But yet they still use the weight room. They'll say you're never going to run a long distance. You're never going to go that need your aerobic system to do that sprint to first base or that 10-yard handoff in a football game or whatever it may be. But then they say, oh, but you don't need sport-specific training in the weight room. And they're using squats and bench presses and pushes and pulls and cleans and lunges and deadlifts when you're never going to use that stuff in the game either. But it's kind of contradictory. They're the irony of it. They're preaching to just lift and stuff and do those lifts in the gym, but then they have to be sport specific when it comes to your conditioning, your cardio. When I find that kind of weird, and I've kind of grown that. I think all athletes can benefit from all the conditioning, all energy systems. Because again, if you're a coach, aren't you trying to help them become the best version of themselves, help them be healthy, help them perform the best? I think you can have a lot of aspects and use all the conditioning, use all the energy. So first of all, there's no magic switch like, oh, I just randomly, now I'm only in the anaerobic or anaerobic alactic. Same, I might use those terms interchangeably. So now I'm in that sense. Oh, now certain amount of time out. Now I'm in the aerobic. All three systems work together. You're gonna work them all at some point, and your body doesn't really. I don't think there's really it's just randomly just gonna change. Oh, now it's there, now it's there, now it's there. It's like they're all working together. You're going to use all those systems, and you need all those systems to um, be an athletic, be well conditioned, have good heart health. And that's a lot of the times what the conditioning, the cardio is for. Uh, and yes, I think it's truly the best way for athletes to condition is to play their sport uh, and play games. And it's the whole thing, we've become so analytical and use analytics, whether that's baseball, using analytics to determine the best lineup, rather than actually having a coach who actually uses the feel, uses the eye test, uses the chemistry, those types of things that actually probably matter more than analytics to determine if your team's going to win. Now it's just done all by analytics, and it's kind of crazy. But we're so numbers driven, and you have to hit this exact 5 seconds for that to work, and you have to take this exact 5 seconds of work and exactly 30 seconds of rest on your cardio for that alactic system, or 5 seconds of work and 55 seconds of rest, or look like we got to hit exactly 30 seconds of work and then 30 seconds rest. And they try to have these exact numbers of exact amount of times you have to work and rest and so on and so forth. And can that stuff be beneficial? Yes, but I've just found it's just more neurotic than necessary. Whatever happened to just going out and doing something? Go play basketball. Go run around in the backyard. Go crawl. Go for a run. Whatever it is, and not just worrying about your heart rate. Not worrying about specific sets and rest and numbers and things like that. And the same can be said for strength training and just training in general. Too much focus on sets and reps rather than actually intent and work and enjoying that and in getting something done and doing an activity. Yes, there's times when just doing something for doing something is not necessarily getting the work done, but get the work done that you want to do. Work hard at what you're trying to do. I don't think it all needs to be about sets and reps and rest time and intervals and things like that, because it's never going to be perfect anyway. No two football players are the same. Some plays might go 3 seconds, some might go 6, some might go 10. Like baseball, you never know. Like there's no set time. Major leagues, you got the pitch clock, so that kind of changes things, but there's still a lot of dead time in there. Someone might quick pitch you or whatnot, and it changes. So there's no specific sets and rep or rest and work periods in sports. So I think trying to mimic that is kind of, can you do it? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. But I think if that's the only way you're only training alactic for like baseball, football, basketball, these short, intense burst sports, and trying to mimic that, I think that's wrong. And then they're trying to mimic it with things like going on an airdyne bike or what the heck are those? I can't think of what those, ski erg or something like that, or a rower, when you're never going to be on a bike in these things. But yes, can that stuff work? Yes, of course it can work. But like they're saying this is sport specific just because of the work rest time. And it's not, because you're not riding a bike in a baseball game. Unless you're at the Savannah Bananas, maybe they're riding bikes in a baseball game. Or you're not doing a skier on the football field. Can this stuff work? Yeah, of course. These are good methods to train cardio conditioning, but I think still the best way is if you're trying to be more athletic in your cardio and your conditioning, use games. Doesn't even have to be the same game. It could be handball. It could be speedball, powerball. Just come up with your own games. Just make up games. That's the best way for cardio, for conditioning, because you're working. Are the sets, the rest time and work time exactly right? Perfect to the games? No, but like who cares? Like, does it matter that much? Like if they're working in practice doing their thing, they're probably getting good conditioning there if you got a good coach and runs a good program and things like that. And then on top of that, if they're getting sprints and speed work done in their training, that's great too. I think still sprinting is probably the best. Sprinting is conditioning, but conditioning is not always sprinting. Sprinting your training, sprinting your own full speed, and getting rest. But that's not all. Sometimes you're not going to have complete rest in the game and things like that. There's so many factors, so many different aspects to it that I think we try to micromanage too much and focusing on these sets and reps and the three systems and energy systems and trying to control everything when then we get into sport and we know it's not controlled. It's controlled chaos. And I think that's where the best form of conditioning is games. If you like to go for long runs, if you like to do airdyne bikes and things like that, and I do that stuff every once in a while, but I would much rather play a game of basketball or a game of powerball or speedball or tag, like these simple things that you're going to get more conditioning, you're going to get better like plyometric contacts, you're going to get cutting in agility work and reaction time, and you're training so much more than just conditioning and cardio. That's just the bonus on top of it with all the other good stuff you get through games. But I train by myself once I can finally get a team, my training team put together. So if you're looking for that, reach out. I want to get a training team of like, I don't know, 6 people or so to come and just train the best way you can train. Train athletically, playing games, lifting, sprinting, jumping, doing all the fun movements and just being athletic and playing. Because we lose that as an adult. But not people get so upset. Like, yes, I used to think like poles are dumb for baseball players in doing this aerobic conditioning stuff. But you need aerobic conditioning. You need glycolytic can help. Should that be the main focus? No, probably not. Especially if it's like a high level athlete, whether maybe it's like a Olympic sprinter training for the 100-meter. You probably don't need a lot of that. But is it going to help? It's probably going to help them in the long run be a healthy individual. Sprinkle it in here and there. Not making it the majority focus. You got to meet each person where they're at, what they like, what works for them. But everyone's going to be individual too in the amount of whatever. But that glycolytic work can help. That aerobic work can definitely help because that's going to help. That longer duration, lower intensity stuff is going to help build the heart, make the heart healthy. You're going to be able to recover better. You're going to feel better. You're going to move better. And you're just going to be a better human physical being. So that stuff can help. And that's not saying that you have to overkill baseball players with running millions and millions of miles and poles and long. It doesn't have to be running. There's so many other ways that I like better than running, especially if you're running on concrete and pavement, even turf. Turf beats you up. But it could be crawling circuits. It could be just movements like skips and hops and those types of things in like tempos and things like tempo work. So these things can all be beneficial. Training each energy system can be beneficial, but I still think it's funny that they say they preach about not sport-specific training, which sport-specific training is the sport. It's practicing, it's playing baseball, basketball, football, whatever it may be. But then they preach that you have to do specific conditioning for the sport. And I don't think that's... Yeah, you should include some of that stuff, but I don't think it's the only thing they can do. You can, if you're doing an alactic dominant sport like football, baseball, you can do some glycolytic work. You can do some aerobic work, and you should. Because especially when you work like me, when I'm working with middle school, with high school kids, I'm trying to set them up for their future to be healthy individuals, not just be good at their sport. Because I can do what I can there, but they ultimately have to go train their sport and practice their sport to get better at their sport. Lifting is not necessarily going to make them better at their sport. Sprinting is not necessarily going to make them better at their sport. Running, crawling, whatever it may mean, is not necessarily going to make them good at their sport. What's going to be good at their sport? Taking batting practice, running routes, blocking, practicing their sport, shooting hoops, shooting free throws, playing one-on-one, that type of stuff. But I can help build the qualities to help them make a healthy human being, more robust, a stronger, a faster, more athletic human being. And then they take these qualities and hopefully it helps them do better and practice more efficiently, and hit the ball or whatever, the strength or whatever, to take those qualities and adapt them to their sports specific training. So that's ultimately, but I want to set them up for the future and build a good heart health and a good foundation of just physical education, physical fitness, which they don't get in school anymore because they don't have good phy ed classes, or they don't have recess and things like that anymore. So it's about, my whole focus is building a good quality human being. And then when I get with my adult clients, again, it's the same thing. Can we do the specific, let's do 5 seconds on, 45 seconds off? Yeah, on an air bike, we could do that. And I do that. But what if let's just go crawl around and create, for the aerobic system, could I have them run 3 miles? Sure. And, but what if they're just beat up and that just bangs up their knees and stuff like that? So let's not do that. Let's just go crawl, put 20 minutes on the clock and get creative and crawl around. That's probably going to get your heart rate up. So again, you don't have to have all the fancy gizmos and gadgets to heart rate monitor. Do a few things that are hard and intense for short periods of time. We're getting a little bit of rest, like a sprint, like a hill sprint, like I don't know, pushing a sled, or going on an air bike, or just playing basketball. And then do something that's a little bit longer, more moderate, a little bit intense, but you're not always just. And don't worry about the clock. Don't worry about the time. Don't worry about specific rest. Do something hard. Do something medium, and do something low, where you can, like walking, or a nice casual bike ride, where you're actually biking, not just gliding and not pedaling, or not on the stupid electric bikes that everyone has nowadays, or scooters. But do something hard, do something medium, do something in lower intensity, so do something soft where you're just moving and you're able to talk. Your heart, you can feel your heart beating, but it's not boom, 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 high intensity all the time. It's not going balls to the wall all the time. I think you're better off that way. If you're someone who gets neurotic about things like that, just don't worry about like the specific work to rest ratio. Don't worry about the specific heart rates or anything like numbers like that. Do something hard, high intensity. Do something medium. Do something lower intensity that's longer, and you're probably going to be better off anyway. You're probably going to enjoy it and make it enjoyable. If you hate running, don't run. There's plenty of better ways to condition and cardio. If you hate sitting on a bike, like I don't like sitting on a bike because it just hurts your butt, and you're sitting. We sit enough as it is. Do something else. Like go for walks. Do something you enjoy. Play a sport. Play a game. Go with the kids. Create a game with the kids in the backyard. Those things that are enjoyable, you're going to stick with more and have more fun with. And that goes for like the resistance training, the lifting, that stuff. And it also goes for your cardio, your conditioning. And it doesn't need to match the sport perfectly to work. I think everyone can benefit. Again, if you're in those lactic dominant sports, those short, intense bursts, you're probably going to want to do more of that stuff. But a lot of times they're getting enough of this by playing their sport, especially kids. They're doing so much these days. Like it's hard to figure out when they need it, when they don't need it. And a lot of times they don't tell you. Like I have kids that are doing 20 million things. Even the off season, they say they're off season, but they're not off season. They're doing 7-on-7 or whatever other kind of football stuff they have, or AAU basketball and things like that. And they're lifting outside of our lifting and not following the actual program. And it's hard to manage, especially when they don't tell you what's going on. And it's hard to, but I think just getting game-based stuff and making that fun is the best way to condition personally, because we're not worried about specific rests or sets or things like that. It's get them in, get them working, get them competing, and then they're not even worried about getting tired. And it's building athletes that way. It's like the whole old. It's just like reset. Like we just become so enamored with these perfect work to rest ratios and things like that, or we got to hit these perfect zones to hit these cardio zones, or these these fitness zones, and I think a lot of it's got its place, but I think a lot of it's kind of a waste of time too for most situations. When if we just get some work in, progress, pull back where needed, and that's part of being a coach. That's part of working with a coach is they help you progress, and they see, oh, team's a little beat up today. Let's pull back. Let's get refreshed. Let's go a little bit low intensity maybe or something like that. Or looking fresh. Let's go compete. Whatever it may be. That's where being a coach comes in. So that's kind of my philosophy on cardio and conditioning. It's changed. Like I used to believe, oh, football players, we just gotta do those 5 seconds and then 30 seconds off just to compete with the play clock or whatever. And like, if they do a little bit of longer work, it's not gonna be benefit or detrimental probably. As long as yes, can you run them into the ground and crush them and destroy them? Yeah, and that goes on way too much as it is, especially with youth sports. But I mean, good coaches probably don't need to have the specific. I'll be so neurotic about these specific zones or specific work to rest ratios when it comes to conditioning and make them super sport specific. Is it going to help? It's going to help, like more aerobic base and building your heart is going to help. Does that mean you have to run 50 miles a week? No, not at all. Go crawl. Go for walks. You're probably going to be better off anyway. Mix in a few runs here and there. Mix in some tempos, that type of stuff. But yeah, there's so many ways to do it. No one way is perfect. No one, if someone says their way is perfect, I would run the opposite way. But good coaches help find what works best for the person, for the team, for whoever they're working with, and that's my philosophy on it. But I just wanted to talk about that a little bit because I see a lot still out about the sport specific conditioning and that type of thing, and how you have to train each individual energy system, and how some sports don't need it. And it's true that they're not utilizing them all the time, but our body always works together. Each energy system is working together. So find what works for you. That's my philosophy. That's my opinion on it now. And I've changed my mind a little bit, and it's okay to change your mind. That's part of getting older. That's part of getting hopefully wiser, and part of just being a human, being a coach is learning and growing. So it's okay to change your mind. But there's some of my thoughts on conditioning. If you have any questions, comments, drop them below. Other than that, be athletic for life. Thanks for watching, guys.